Well, it's a good evening from wherever you're watching us from. You're just in time for the 9 p.m. wrap live at our Orbit TV studios. I am your one and only Captain Jesse Gitonga. Landing gears disengaged. Let's take off. President Ruto urges Kenyans to reject divisive politics and preserve national unity beyond elections. Former administration police officer jailed 40 years for murder of colleague. The Media Council of Kenya demands accountability after journalists were attacked and media equipment confiscated during the Ol Kalou by-election. Well, you can join in the coverage live through our social media platforms at Orbit TV Kenya, hashtag the 9 p.m. wrap, or you can reach out to me on my social media platforms at the Jesse Tosh. President William Ruto has called on Kenyans to safeguard national unity as the country's political temperature continues to rise following the DCP's victory in the Ol Kalou parliamentary by-election. Ruto says elections should never be allowed to divide the country, insisting on the need for unity as a state despite political affiliation. Speaking at State House Nairobi, during a meeting with grassroots leaders from Bungoma County, the president warned against ethnic politics and urged leaders to prioritize development over divisive campaigns. Ruto said leaders will ultimately be judged by their record of improving the lives of Kenyans, adding that the country can only achieve meaningful transformation through sustained development. He also called on Kenyans to support leaders with a clear vision to move the country forward. Well, Nanyuki High Court has sentenced a former administration police officer to 40 years in prison after finding him guilty of murdering a fellow officer in Samburu County. Patrick Marwa was handed the jail term after the Director of Public Prosecutions secured his conviction for the 2019 murder of Duncan Cheruiyot in Maralal. The court said that Marwa shot Cheruiyot 10 times during an argument after he was ordered to surrender his service rifle before reporting for duty. Justice A.K. Ndungu ruled that the prosecution had proved the murder charge beyond reasonable doubt, finding that Marwa acted with malice aforethought. The Media Council of Kenya has condemned the alleged assault of journalists and confiscation of media equipment during the Ol Kalou by-election in Nyandarua County. The Media Council says several accredited journalists were attacked while covering the July 16th by-election, while some sustaining injuries and their cameras confiscated. According to the Media Council, this incident represents a serious violation of press freedom and the public right to information. The Council has called on swift action to be taken by relevant authorities to identify those responsible, return all confiscated equipment, and cooperate fully with investigations. It has also called on the Inspector General of Police to ensure accountability and safeguard journalists as the country prepares for the 2027 general election. The National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula and Senate Speaker Amason Kingi have opposed an application seeking to bar them from engaging in political activities. Through their lawyers, the two speakers told the High Court that the petition is premature, politically motivated, and was filed before the wrong forum. They argue that the elected leaders, they enjoy the political rights guaranteed in the Constitution, while the petitioners that the political rights guaranteed in the Constitution, while the petitioners maintain that the speakers should remain politically neutral while in office. Justice David Mburu is expected to issue directions after considering the submissions. Well, let's take a short commercial break. Batman to buckle up. We'll be back with more. Welcome. Welcome back. Democracy for Citizens and Party MP-elect Sami Kamau has said the outcome of the Ol Kalou parliamentary by-election should serve as a warning to the President William Ruto's government. Speaking after being declared the winner, Kamau claimed the results reflect declining public confidence in the government and could signal what to expect in the 2027 general election. He also commended the IEBC for conducting what he described as a credible election while calling for investigations into violence and attacks on journalists during the poll. Justice Gatembu Cairo has officially taken over as President of the Court of Appeal, pledging to fast-track the hearing of cases and reduce the growing backlog at the country's second highest court. During his installation ceremony at the Supreme Court, Justice Cairo said his leadership will be guided by transparency, the rule of law, and fidelity to the Constitution, while prioritizing pending appeals, especially applications that have slowed the court's work. Chief Justice Martha Koome condemned the transition, urging the new court resident to build a more efficient appellate court capable of determining appeals within a year, as the judiciary continues to tackle thousands of pending cases nationwide. Kenya and the United States have signed a landmark health partnership that will see more than 218 billion shillings in the US funding invested in the country's health sector over the next 6 years. The agreement signed in Nairobi introduces a government-to-government funding model designed to strengthen transparency, accountability, and national ownership of health programs. Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale said the partnership will support key programs including HIV, tuberculosis, malaria, cancer care, digital health, and public health reforms. While Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi described the deal as a major step towards more accountable management of donor funding. The government has announced plans to transform the Kenya Union of Savings and Credit Cooperatives, KUSCO, into a federation, setting the stage for sweeping reforms across the country's SACCO sector. Cooperatives Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya announced the changes after meeting KUSCO's board of directors on Thursday, revealing that the ministry will also convene a meeting with SACCO leaders nationwide to prepare the sector for reforms under the proposed cooperative bill societies. Under the new structure, KUSCO will shift from its previous dual role as a both financial and an umbrella body to federation focus solely on promoting good governance across SACCOs. Oparanya said he had received a comprehensive briefing on restructuring the organization. Well, let's take a short commercial break, but don't go far. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back, and sorry for the technical issues. We are getting that sorted. On to the story that we had interrupted earlier. The government has announced plans to transform the Kenya Union of Savings and Credit Cooperatives, KUSCO, into a federation, setting the stage for sweeping reforms across the country's SACCO sector. Cooperatives Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya announced the changes after a meeting. After a meeting, Cusco's board of directors on Thursday revealing that the ministry will also convene a meeting with SACCO leaders nationwide to prepare the sector for reforms under the proposed cooperative societies. Under the new structure, Cusco will shift from its previous dual role as both a financial service provider and umbrella body to a federation focused solely on the promoting good governance across SACCOs. Oparanya said he had received a comprehensive briefing on restructuring the organization to strengthen governance, improve operational efficiency, and restore confidence in the cooperative movement. He said he was encouraged by progress made in recovering assets to safeguard members' interests alongside ongoing preparations for the transition to a federation. The reforms come in the wake of last year's 13.3 billion shilling scandal, which exposed widespread financial mismanagement at the umbrella body and put billions of shillings in member savings and investment at risk, forcing many SACCOs to revise their financial statements after writing off missing investments. Well, on to some sports now. FIFA will award bespoke championship rings to the winners of Sunday's World Cup final for the first time in the tournament's history, as Spain and Argentina prepare to meet at MetLife Stadium after stunning semi-final wins over France and England. According to FIFA and multiple international outlets, the customized rings inspired by a long-standing American sporting tradition will be presented to the champions alongside the trophy and gold medals following Sunday's final in East Rutherford, New Jersey. On other sports, a new Kenya Volleyball Federation Men's National League champion will be crowned this weekend as Kenya Ports Authority takes on newcomers Chema Volleyball Club in a best-of-3 final series at the Kasarani Indoor area in Nairobi. The title showdown, running from Friday to Sunday, guarantees a change of guard after defending champions General Service Unit were knocked out in the quarterfinals last month in Mombasa, eliminated by Kenyan Prisons. Chema have enjoyed a remarkable debut campaign in the top flight after earning promotion from Division 2 last season, securing their place in the final by overcoming Kenyan Prisons in the semi-finals earlier this month. Standing in their way are KPA, one of the league's most consistent sides in recent years, who finished runners-up last season and booked their final spot by defeating Kenya Defence Forces in the semi-finals. Regardless of the outcome, both clubs have already secured qualification for the 2027 Africa Clubs Championships after finishing among the league's top 2 teams. Well, we have arrived at our destination. Hope you enjoyed the flight. I have been your one and only Captain Jesse Gitonga. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night. Oh, and don't forget, and now